That's switcher. Remember when we used switcher?
Switcher.
It's sweet else.
We're space hopping out of the see that we're streaming and people can see that's all that matters.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga. It's a beautiful day. If you awoke with breath today, that's a gift you can't repay. You gotta be thankful for the joy that comes your way. Let me tell you what you gotta do. Open your mind and know the truth. The sun that shines is the light inside of you. I got sunshine on my mind. I got sunshine all the time. I got sunshine everywhere I'm going. I want you to know I got sunshine when it hurts and when nothing seems to work. I got sunshine. Do you see the sunshine? If you awoke with a breath today, that's a gift you can't repay. You gotta be thankful for the joy that comes your way. Let me tell you what you gotta do. Open your mind and know the truth. The sun that shines is the light inside of you. I got sunshine on my mind. I got sunshine all the time. I got sunshine everywhere I'm going. I want you to know I got sunshine when it hurts and when nothing seems to work. I got sunshine. Do you see the sunshine? I got sunshine on my mind. I got sunshine all the time. I got sunshine everywhere I'm going. And I want you to know I got sunshine when it hurts and when nothing seems to work. I got sunshine. Do you see the sunshine? Sunshine on my mind. Sunshine all the time. We got sunshine everywhere. I want you to know. Oh, sunshine when it hurts and when nothing seems to work. Oh, the sunshine. Do you see the sunshine? Do you see the sunshine? Do you? Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
As we bring our energy right here, right now, we are here in holy space, in the space where the presence shines that sunshine into our hearts and minds. And as we prepare for today's service, we open our hearts and minds with the willingness and intention to hear something new and fresh, even if we've heard it before. We proclaim and declare that this is a holy space. And we welcome everyone who is with us in person and everyone who's joining us online. For in this moment, we are called to be here and to be open. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Surely the presence
Hello, Godlings. It's always wonderful to be here with you. It's really kind of one of my favorite times of the week when we get to gather together in fellowship and friendship. And the only other time is when I get to take a nap. Those are my favorite times. My name is Penny Worth, and I have called Unity of Chattanooga my spiritual home for just about 20 years now. And there's someone else around who's been probably here even longer than me, and that is our wonderful and talented Landis Bass.
No, you've been here longer than me.
I was in Unity, but in other parts of the country. You were actually here.
No, you came first. Don't shake it. All right, you came.
It's just, you're here. That's what's good. You're here, and we're here, and I'm here. So, I would also like to welcome all of our friends who are watching us on Facebook. We thank you for inviting us into your homes, and please know that your presence is just as much a part of our energy as those who are here. I see that we have a few new people in our congregation this morning, and we are honored that you have joined us. And we always like to pick on you a little, so sorry about that. But our ushers will bring you by a packet of information so that you can get to know us a little bit better. And in the meantime, we want to extend a special blessing to you. So everybody warm up your hands. Ready? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. That Christ in you refers to that spark of divinity, the very same quality of being that Jesus found and brought forth in his ministry. Well, as you have all noticed, we have a new guest speaker here with us this morning, and she joins us from the beautiful and serene mountains of northern Georgia near Blairsville. And I am delighted to welcome both Reverend Rev Volker and her husband Rick this morning. She is a dedicated, ordained Unity minister who has served congregations in Ohio and Georgia, and right now she's a highly sought-after guest speaker for Unity churches all over. She is also skilled in organizational development and leadership, and she does board trainings to help churches establish strategies and action steps. She is also vetted as a minister of record, and that person helps ministries who are at a time without a minister or in transition. And she currently serves on the executive team of Unity's Southeast region, which we are a part of. In her other life, she's a certified life coach specializing in guiding individuals through transformative, fresh starts. With her expertise in applying spiritual principles to everyday challenges, she is here to help people unlock their inner potential and live their dreams. You can say that she shows people how to make a good life a great life. Sounds good, huh?
Yeah.
And just like Reverend Robin, one of our goals at Unity of Chattanooga is to help every individual to remember their true divine nature by bringing empowered wisdom teachings that encourage the spiritual awakening in all people, regardless of their race, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious or cultural background. We know that unity can make a positive difference in one's life, and we like to think that you will leave here feeling a little better than when you came. But for right now, this is the time in our service where we all get to stand up and greet each other with either a hug or a fist bump or even a simple smile, whatever you are comfortable with.
time when I was in a hurry, as you are, I was like you. There was a day when I just had to prove my point of view, and I was like you. Oh, I don't mean to make you frown. No, I just want to slow you down. And have you ever been mellow? Have you ever tried to find the wisdom deep inside of you? Have you ever been happy? Oh, there's an inner song. Listen, Spirit is guiding you along, running around as you do, with your head up in the clouds. I was like you. Never had time to lay back, kick your shoes off, close your eyes. I was like you. Now you're not hard to understand. You need someone to take your hand. And have you ever been alone? Have you ever tried to find the wisdom deep inside of you? Have you ever been happy? There's an inner song. Listen, Spirit is guiding you along. Have you ever been alone? Have you ever tried to hear the still small voice inside of you? Have you ever been happy? There's an inner song. Listen, Spirit is guiding you along.
Thank you so much, Landis. That was beautiful. Good morning, Unity of Chattanooga. I'm Reverend Robin and delighted to be with you this morning. I was told that I had until 12 o'clock and that clock says it's 20 after 10. So I hope you're ready to be mellow and chill out because we're going to be here a while. But seriously, you know, I
Did
am
you
a
say
little...
nap time?
Seriously, I am a little, you know, in my mind mixed up because last Sunday was Spring Forward Day, and you know that takes a while to get used to, and now we're having church on Saturday. By tomorrow, I'm not going to have any idea what I'm supposed to be doing. Today we're talking about wisdom, and the invitation is to open your mind to wisdom at a new level than what you may have thought about before. Jesus taught us to judge rightly, not by appearance, not by what we see, but to go beyond that. So today we're going to take that deeper as we attempt to discern that spiritual connection so that we can go to a higher level of understanding. Jesus was able to go beyond human perception. He was able to exceed the most enlightened people of his day. And actually, 2,000 years later, who's caught up with him, right? He had this profound connection with God that was not just about sharing knowledge, but it was about tapping into a deep intrinsic knowing that went beyond intellectual reasoning. In our quest to be more like our way shower and to follow in those steps, we want to learn to judge from right thinking. In the Bible, they use the word righteousness, but as we translate that into our modern metaphysical terminology, we just, every time we see that word righteousness, it's not about getting holier than thou. It is about moving into right thinking. What is right thinking? Is the highest thought we can reach at that moment. We're going to strive to go higher and reach beyond where we were when we walked in the door. We make a point to avoid quick, surface-level judgments and decisions that come only from our head. We want to try to bring some heart energy, some connection to that infinite intelligence into the work that we do. Our journey teaches us to have a divine connection with this power of wisdom. In Charles Fillmore's work in the 12 Powers, I brought some of my Charles Fillmore library with me. Hopefully you have the entire collection at home. In his work with the 12 Powers, he believed that God had these inherent powers that were instilled in humanity, and that they come as standard equipment for us. We don't have to go earn them. We don't have to go buy them. We don't even have to go to school and learn them. But we do learn how to apply them, how to turn them on. Have you ever gotten a new car and it had all this standard equipment and you didn't know how to operate it? What does this button do and what does that button do? And my car actually has adaptive cruise control, that when you set it, it will brake if the car in front of you slows down. Kind of freaked me out the first time. It still freaks me out when Rick drives. but that's another topic for now. So Charles associated these 12 powers that he identified in the late 1800s and really taught in depth in the early 1900s with different parts of the body, with different colors, and with different disciples. So I try to demonstrate some of these things that Charles was teaching. So what do you think the color of wisdom might be?
Yellow.
Yellow. Oh, you're so smart. Thank you. Thank you. And he taught them in the order of the disciples as they were called by Jesus into his mastermind group of 12. So the disciple for wisdom is James, the son of Zebedee, who had a brother whose name was, does anyone know? John. James and John were the brothers of Zebedee. So John is next month in Love if you're interested in that. But today we're talking about James, the son of Zebedee. And the part of the body that relates to wisdom is in the pit of the stomach, in the solar plexus, right back behind the sternum. So when you are trying to make a decision, do you ever feel it right here in the pit of your stomach and you just know it's absolutely right or absolutely wrong? So Charles was pretty smart, wasn't he? He was paying attention to how he felt things in his body, and he translated that into these identifications that we can remember and use. So when we want to tap into that deeper source of wisdom, then we want to tune into this part of our bodies in our meditation time. Wisdom's influence is not only physical, it's mental and emotional and spiritual. It really reaches into all the realms of our lives. And how we use it is based upon our intention. Our intention is very powerful. You can say the prettiest words, but if your intention is to harm or to manipulate or to hold back, what do you think happens? It's where you place your intention. And when we judge others harshly or out of fear, then we end up creating that harm and fear. We put that out there into circulation, and it affects us personally. We may get physically ill, may even affect that solar plexus area. Have you ever really made a decision out of fear or out of manipulation, and it came back to hurt you in the stomach, and you may have become ill, or it may hurt you emotionally or in your relationships? When we use wisdom and deeper spiritual insight, then everything in our lives is healthier and happier. Our bodies are healthier and happier. Our relationships are healthier and happier. Our prosperity is healthier and happier. Everything works for us better when we can really come from that deeper place. And just as Penny said, that divine Christ idea is that part that we all have that is holy, perfect, and whole, just as it is. You are a divine and holy, perfect inspiration of God, just as you are. Now, we're also human, right? We're feet on the earth, feet on the clay. So we don't always show up in our brilliant, holy selves. But we can remember that we are truly divine and holy, and we can work to come back to have that show up more authentically for us. And how do we do that? We turn to our spiritual practice. That's what keeps bringing us back. Is what keeps bringing us back. That's why you're here today, to be in spiritual community and be in spiritual practice together, so that when you walk out the door, your life will be easier and happier and more joy-filled, right? Jesus helped his disciples to discover the power of these God powers in their lives. And you are here to help each other to remember them and to practice them. So wisdom is really the peak of spiritual insight. Wisdom is the peak of spiritual insight. It's not just about making smart choices. It's about having that inner sense of what is right and what is wrong for you in your life. It's not about taking other people's inventory. It's about you knowing what's right for you in your life. So think of it as that quiet, still voice that we often talk about. And, you know, when we are tapped into wisdom, it's really like a conversation with God. As we nurture that, we can hear that more easily. We can hear it. Because the ego is loud and boisterous, isn't it? But the voice of wisdom is soft and quiet. It never yells at us. Spirit never yells at us. And you know, people say, they're always saying, you know, I got whacked upside of the head and I wasn't listening, so then God got a 2x4. Well, honey, that wasn't God doing that, you know. If you made decisions that circumstances hit you upside the head, then it's all on you. Don't blame that on God. Because God is all loving, all kind, all generously compassionate. And that's what we want to cultivate, is that gentleness in life. My two favorite adjectives for life are ease and grace. I want to live in ease and grace. So today I want to talk about building a ladder of consciousness. How can we grow in our understanding of wisdom? And I'm kind of an old-fashioned teacher, so I brought a handout. If you did not get one, raise your hand, and someone will run one right to you. So we start on the lowest level of the ladder by unlearning untruths. Unlearning things that we don't need to have in our consciousness. Unlearning those things that we may have learned early in life that just don't work for us anymore. Like the previous example, one of the things that we might unlearn is that God hits us upside the head with a 2x4. You know, I was told that in my early life, but that's not true, so I unlearned that. I sweep that out of my consciousness. And there are probably other things that you were taught when you were young that you need to let go of, or you've been letting go of. And it's constantly, for me, a learning process. You know, those early lessons, they were deep, right? They were deep. So we want to unlearn those things. We want to clear our minds of any thoughts of lack, limitation, fear, intolerance, disease, difficulty. We just want to sweep them out, get rid of them. We want to do a cleaning. It's what Charles Fillmore called a sloughing off in another one of Charles's books, Atom Smashing Power of Mind. This is an older edition. Don't you love that title, Atom Smashing Power of Mind? Oh. He says in this book that we find that at every upward step we take in our evolution, there is a sloughing off, a doing away with some parts of consciousness that do not accord with higher principles. We have to shake it off, slough it off, get rid of it, make space for something new, which is the second step. We want to step into learning a new way of thinking, a new way of consciousness. If you have something in your life that troubles you, that may cause you to feel fearful, it could be a diagnosis, or an ailment, or a relationship that's out of whack, or it may be when you sign on and look at your bank account and you go, oh, you know, something that causes you fear. You want to unlearn the fear thoughts. There is nothing to fear. And then you want to fill that space with God's presence protects me. God's wisdom guides me. God's power protects me. God's presence surrounds me. What is that? Yeah, the prayer for protection. Yeah, that's all. In filling our minds with those powerful statements. So what was I just demonstrating for you? Denials and affirmations. Foundational unity practices. You know, if you're expecting me to bring you something new, you know, it's the basic stuff that works. Let's just get back to basics. How do you win a basketball game? You make sure that you can dribble the ball and that you can shoot your free throws. You got to have good skills. It's time for March Madness. So, right? Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. You got to get back to the basics, denials and affirmations. And basic unity teachings. One of the things that I encourage my students and clients to do is have a little notebook for denials and affirmations. And isn't this a cute one? So just take a notebook and open it up and write what your fear thought is here on the left-hand side. just give it voice. You know, pushing it away and pushing it down that's not effective denial. That's swimming in the river of denial, really. That's not the thing. That's not what I'm talking about here. So write out what you're afraid of, and then underneath that, write your denial that will cancel out that thought. And then on the right-hand page, fill that page up with affirmations that are the opposite of what it is that you fear, or the opposite of what it is that you dread, or what's not working for you. And I love journaling. I have all kinds of little books stuck all over my office and my bedroom. But I really like a separate journal just for my denials and affirmations. And the more stuck you are, the more I encourage you to pull it out and really practice and use it. The more that you practice these spiritual practices, then the more you grow in knowledge. You go to a higher level on the ladder, and knowledge starts to become second nature for you. And you start to recognize, oh yeah, I'm on the left-hand side of my journal. Let me move on over to the right-hand side and get some positive thoughts working for me. We want to move out of just what we can see intellectually. You know, that's where our fear comes from, is we're trying to rationalize our whole lives based on what we can see intellectually. And that doesn't always work, does it? We don't always want to believe what we see. We have to work with what's out there, but we don't want that to be our reality. We don't want to own that diagnosis and make that be our truth. We don't want to own that bank account, that bank balance, and have that be our limited thinking. We want to go beyond that. And so as we practice these basic steps, we then move to the fourth level of reasoning, where we can start to put together more than one spiritual idea at a time. This is really cool. So, we would all agree, I think, that God is all good. Right? God is all good. And we would all agree that we are a creation of God. Descendants, children of God, you might call it. So rationalization is when we put the two together and we have a new idea. Oh, then I am all good. Then I am inherently good. It's a higher step in the use of wisdom. And for those of us who may have grown up in situations where we may not have gotten that message, we may be carrying around some sense of unworthiness, that's a powerful step in climbing the ladder of wisdom. Oh. And then you will do that more and more. You'll take different spiritual ideas and combine them together and reason out a new idea that works for you in your life. In step 5, we have gone even deeper. We've been practicing unlearning and relearning, learning new things. We've gotten into a level of knowledge, and then we've started reasoning out how to create our own ideas. And then insights begin to come to us. So here we are, we're looking at circumstances, and all of a sudden we know, we have this deep intrinsic knowing that there is something more than what the circumstances tell us that there is. Recently, I had this happen in my life in a very intimate way. I have been a power of attorney for an older couple in their 90s for almost a year now, about 9-10 months. And they had gotten to a place where they could not make their own decisions. Oh, boy, did I. I had no idea what I was signing up for. And then my friend We had been friends for 28 years. She had no children, and she had stepped into the role of my mama, because my mama had been gone for 25 years. She had a stroke in October, and everything in her life changed. And I had to step up and do more for her and make more decisions for her. And then her physical condition and her mental condition continued to decline. And that decline progressed and progressed. She was really sick in December. January was a little better. And then February, she was really very ill. And the medical community was looking at her situation and seeing a certain thing and treating it in a certain way. And I couldn't get peace with that. And I felt this intrinsic knowing, this deep knowing that it was something else and that they were missing this part that was so important. But they didn't listen to me. I'm not medical. Who am I to tell them what they're supposed to be doing, right? But I kept saying, it's this, not that. It's this, not that. And then finally someone else agreed and stood with me. And we were able to allow my friend to make a peaceful passing at the end of February. That's what insight is. It's when you look at something and all the facts don't add up and make sense, but you know it's something else. That's insight. And when you start to get those insights coming to you, they will scare you. Because I was scared. I was scared. I was scared because of the reality of what the insight was, and I was scared because nobody would listen to me. And I was scared I even had to voice it in the first place. But as we sit in our spiritual practice of prayer and meditation and we go deeper and start to get those insights and learn to live with them, you do it all the time. You don't know it. You do it on the interstate and you're looking ahead of you and you see that car and you know that car is going to go that way and that big semi-truck is going to go to the right and you better get out of the way because they're going to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. That's insight. And as you work to deepen that, to open your mind, to allow that to come into your experience, you go to full-blown wisdom. It becomes a practice that is second nature to you. And you hunger to want to make decisions from that place. Landis, I bet you write your music from that place. That it just comes to you. The words come to you. The melody comes to you. The flow and the rhythm. And as we continue on that path, at some point, we will get into that place of just knowing. And wisdom is no longer something that we're looking for. It's no longer something that we're striving to learn, but it is something that we know. Charles Fillmore said it this way: when we break into the reality of our being, the light begins to break upon us from within, and we know the truth. When we awaken to the reality of our being, the light begins to break upon us from within, and we know the truth. No more guessing, no more hesitation. We simply know it. So let's take some time to allow these ideas and thoughts to sink into our mental space. And turn within and allow the comfort of the Spirit to descend upon us and just move us into a place of wisdom. Imagine yourself yourself ascending to the highest peak of understanding, where you are not just holding wisdom, but you are wisdom itself. Picture a state of being where you are in perfect harmony with Spirit, living in a space of continuous enlightenment. There are no more questions, no more seeking answers. In this place of perfect wisdom, every question is matched up with its answer. Every problem is matched up with its solution. And only truth resides. In this moment, allow yourself to be in a place of profound knowing. And if your mind tells you that you're not there yet, just tell it that you're practicing. And for the next few minutes, every thought that passes through your mind is going to bring deep inner wisdom. Imagine your mind open at the top and allow yourself to feel the energy of God pouring into you. Visualize yourself basking in the warm, nurturing light of wisdom. Allow it to guide your thoughts. Let it be your compass. And as we take a few breaths just to enjoy the idea of basking in this warm yellow light, just allow your expectations to fall away and see that light and energy moving in and through you. As we take a few breaths in the silence. Imagine that you are perched on the top of that ladder of wisdom, on the highest pinnacle, where you have become one with divine knowledge, divine knowing, and your thoughts are pure, and everything that you imagine God to be, you now are. You are that. In this moment, the phrase, "I and the Father are one," explains who you are. It is your living truth. to return to this space and time. Bring back with you all the wisdom that you received. Bring back with you all the openness and the willingness. Begin to ground yourself in this space. Feet on the floor. Wiggle fingers and toes. As your heart returns full of gratitude for what you received today. And so it is. This week, you are called to diligently explore these steps in ascending the ladder of wisdom. I encourage you to take each one and spend time in meditation and journaling to recognize where you are on your journey to wisdom. And remember to stay open in ease and grace to the flow of that soft yellow energy of God flowing into you, so that you can be active as wisdom in your life, and share that with those in your circles of influence. These are the powers of God instilled and given to you, and I know that for you, this week will be full of mighty and magnificent blessings. It's been an honor to spend this time with you. God bless you. Namaste.
Many churches today offer some of the most nurturing opportunities for their congregants through their programs and their classes that come together in fellowship to support one another. And Unity of Chattanooga is no exception. And one of the people that helps to make that happen is Phaedra Roberts, who heads up our Spirit Group program. The beauty of these Spirit Groups is that they offer an opportunity for people to come together and at the same time allow each individual to do their own spiritual work in the company of friends. It is my delight this morning to welcome Phaedra up and the members of the latest spirit group to come and share their experiences.
Good morning. My name is Phaedra Roberts. I'm the program leader for the spirit groups here at Unity of Chattanooga. And we have just wrapped up our study of Discover Your Divinity. And I've got to say that it was a challenging text to us. But before we get into that, I do want to introduce the members who were part of that group. Reverend Doug was part of our group. Sarah Lord, Holly Leonard, Linda Hurst, Laura Noyes, and Jay Harkins. So we had a wonderful experience together. Now, y'all know that, you've heard me say it plenty of times, that spirit groups are all about the 5 C's. Communion, connection, compassion, community, and challenge. And challenge was the 5C that really came through for me this time. Now, challenge is all about being willing to grow and stretch. And I gotta say, Reverend Robin, that we had our time of entering into some of these steps you were talking about today. For me personally, my personal growth and work that I had to do was, this book brought up for me some old concepts of God left over from my prior church. And that's where my work was, and that's where some of the challenge was for me. But on the beautiful side of it, being able to get to know other members of our congregation better, to learn about our lives, growing up, to have fun together, to have a meal together, to experience a community service project together. That was the blessing. That was the silver lining that always seems to happen in spirit groups. And knowing that I still have a little work to do, still have a little wisdom I've got to work on, and that was it for me. Now, 3 other members of our group volunteered to share today about their experience. So, Linda, do you want to come up first?
Challenge was indeed the word for all of us. We were approaching the affirmative prayer, and the book focused on principle primarily, and not as much as the heart-centeredness that all of us deeply wanted. So that was the chemicalization that we had, and we worked through that. But I also have to affirm what Phaedra said. It was just a delight to get to know some of these people that I, only had a nodding acquaintance with. One of the strengths, one of the great powers of love that come from these congregations, this wonderful congregation we call Unity of Chattanooga, is the family that it creates, the spiritual family, the family you can walk hand in hand together with on your own spiritual trek, as well as affirming for them the truth when we have a hard time seeing it. So I would strongly recommend to each of you, if you get an opportunity to participate in a group like this, they really are enriching, challenging, but enriching and a wonderful experience. And Laura and I became buddies during this time.
I, like my other members, didn't get a whole lot out of the book. It just didn't speak to my heart, like Linda said. But what I did love about the Spirit Group was getting to know these beautiful people and sharing our lives together, particularly the time that we had lunch together. And honestly, we just talked and talked and talked. We were there together, sitting around that lunch table for 3 hours. I finally had to tell everybody to go home. Because I had to go out of town, not because I didn't want to stay. And also another wonderful thing was the community service project that we did was a Power of A prayer group, which is just incredibly powerful. And that's all I have to say. I love being in a spirit group for that. Zoom doesn't work for me, really, but the in-person stuff is much nicer for me. And here's Sarah.
Always have show and tell. Well, I've been in 3 spirit groups, and my motive was to get to know people on a deeper level than just coming on Sunday, saying hi and bye. And that happened. That feels good. And I've gotten to know more of the city from out Hamilton way and however you get to Laura's house. So that's kind of fun. And the interesting thing is, I didn't read the other books for the other 2 groups I was in, but I thought, I will be a good do-by. Do what everybody else does. I'll read the book. Surprise, I had a very intense reaction to this book. I don't want to remember the name of it. I didn't like it. My dad sent me off to college with a note of don't be so melodramatic, but I'm over 80 and I can be melodramatic. But in my early 60s, I found storytelling. And what a perfect vehicle to let whatever makes melodrama show itself. So I sat down with a book and a highlighter, and I was going to do this right. I started to read. Now, anybody here remember Harry Potter? And there were these balls that had energy in them, and if they got, remember the name of them? No, okay, that's all right. Anyway, if they got out of their container, out of their jail, then they created chaos, right? Okay, well, I opened the book and I started to read the book, and then I shut the book because I didn't really like what I was something about. And then I opened the book, those balls started to jump out of that book. And I thought, I don't like this. I do not like this. So I shut the book again and said, well, I'll give it another go. Everybody else is reading the book. I'll read it. Again, they started to jump. You remember? Golden Stitch. The Golden Stitch. No, that's the thing for the game. But these were a bunch of balls that needed to be contained inside some sort of wooden box or something. Thank you. Okay. Well, the next day I tried again and got the same response. It's like, this book is just not for me. What is going on? It must be. It's my adolescent rebel coming back out. She's never grown up. She's always alive and well, and it's kind of hard to keep her under wraps. Anyway, now where am I with what I wrote here? Okay, well, I decided if I am having such an intense reaction to this book, there's something in there that I've got to learn. So I looked. Well, the book went in the McKay's box with all the other books on top of it, so those balls couldn't open the book and get loose again. And I put down on paper the conclusions that I've come to about what this earthly existence is all about. The God I learned about when I came in was not a positive, loving, caring God that you want to relate, you want to stay away from this one. None of that good stuff for me, and the local humans were not so great either. So I've been struggling with healing my feelings from early trauma, as well as struggling with a whole God religion thing, and wanting to find and live life from my happy, positive place. And on my journey, I've learned that people who suffer early trauma also more than likely suffer with religion, God issues. So I don't fit right in the mold. And this book, apparently, as I look back, seems to be a very intense authority figure telling me what to do and how to do it around the issue of prayer. And I don't respond well to being told what to do. Okay. However, I did want to get the most out of this experience, so I answered these questions that I asked myself. What's my concept of the Creator and its purpose? What are we doing here? What is my name for the concept of God? And what I found most helpful and found just recently were the experiences on YouTube related by the people who've had near-death experiences and shared them. They flink with me. And in my doctorate paper I wrote, I made up the word flink being thinking and feeling put together. They flink. I love those experiences. And from watching all those YouTube things, I've made my concept of what I guess we could use the term heaven. This is what heaven looks like. And I'm down here, and there are these wonderful iridescent channels between me and what's on the other side. So that has really quelled, is that a good word? A lot of the fears that I've been having about dying. And being 82 and watching those numbers go up, and it's getting closer, guys, it's real, and I get freaked out. So this is up in my house where I see it when I wake up in the morning. And these people describe us, we become orbs on the other side, and they said the colors on the other, being an artist, I'm going to get hooked on color, the colors on the other side are so intense. And there are colors there that we can't even, we haven't even imagined yet. And they talk about it being iridescent over there and just pure love and everything. Now, I like that. I'm feeling okay about going, I think. Anyway, now where am I? Okay, and then we move on to, well, now what about Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Wankantanka, the sun gods of Egypt, Guan Yin, and all the other gods that have been created? What are they here for, and what do they do for us? So I guess I created my own Bible. Anyway, and it's on down at home. And what are the stories that these beings brought in? What are they for? And I've listened a lot to Joseph Campbell, and he helped me make sense of all the religious stories. They build on each other, and they come from the needs of the culture that those people are living in that created those stories. And why is Earth so difficult? And what's the purpose of living? I don't really have a clue, unless it's maybe to accept ourselves and others, forgive whatever goes ouch in you that other people do, stretch our own abilities, and most important is to enjoy the stretching process. It's get into life and think it's kind of fun. Learn to love ourselves so that we can love and forgive others. and I'm pretty sure I've identified what my task has been here this lifetime. But back to the original question. What did this spirit group experience do for me? Well, I took an unpleasant experience with that book and turned it into an incredible, wow! Woohoo! I now have my own Bible. Or Quran, or whatever name you want to put to it. And it motivated me to put into words my theory of what's it all about, Alfie.
So we'll be getting ready to kick off another spirit group somewhere around Easter time. And we'll be moved into our new place by then. And so we're excited about that. And we'll be on the search for people who would like to host a spirit group. So you'll be hearing more from me coming up about that. And, on further occasions through the newsletter and that kind of thing. And I'd like to turn it back over to Penny now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was great. Yes. And thank you, Robin.
Yeah.
I learned something very interesting today. Yellow is my favorite color, and wisdom is in every one of my passwords. So I have just a few things I'd like to bring to your attention this morning. This coming Wednesday at 6:30, right out here in the fellowship area, it's time for our monthly get-together, where we come together at 6:30 at night for some soup and salad. And it used to be called Spiritual Connection Groups, but we're now calling it Creating Connections. And it's just a casual time to come together as a family and get to know each other a little better on a personal level. And that's this Wednesday at 6:30. Next week, we have a very interesting guest coming, Joshua Ignacio. He is a gifted channeler and vibrational sound healer who devotes his life to be an instrument of God's love and will, and he's here to help you find what is your unique expressions and gifts and to use them in the world. After the service at 1 o'clock, he will also be presenting a workshop called Sound, Alchemy, and Your Divine Blueprint. And what he does is a deep healing and clearing experience to remove all the blockages from your energy fields. And he also, at the end of it, will do a special soul song based on the participants in the group. There is a love offering charge of $20 for that. And we have a new group that's going to be starting on Thursdays, April 4th at noon in our new building. And it is going to be presented by Eric Miller and Gino. And Eric has a favorite quote from Louise Hay in her book, Heal Your Body, A to Z. It says, how you start your day is how you live your day. How you live your day is how you live your life. And this group is called Wellness Warriors, and it's a new positive and practical support group for people dealing with health issues. It's a place to talk, share challenges, and set your health intentions. And we learned about intentions this morning. So that's going to be April 4th, Thursdays at noon. All right, so I got to tell you, there is one heck of a spread out there. I think the leprechauns have been busy the whole time they've been in here. So even if you don't have an ounce of Irish in you, I hope you'll join us for fellowship today. But in the meantime, would you please stand now and join in singing the peace song?